One last time.
Alright, kid. Let's go do it. One last time.
Good evening, good morning, and good afternoon to everyone watching this video, and welcome to my first ever How Was It This Good? And today I'll be talking about the Uncharted saga, mainly Uncharted Drake's Fortune, which was the first entry into this amazing saga. But before talking about these video games, let's talk about the studio, Naughty Dog. What was Naughty Dog known for before releasing the first Uncharted? I can tell you, if you're in your 20s, you probably played these games when you were a child with your cousins, with your brothers, and all that. It was Crash Bandicoot, the first one released in 1996, then 2, then 3, then Racing, which was later released in 1999, all for the PlayStation 1, and there's no other game that Naughty Dog launched. Like for the PS1, it was just Crash Bandicoot 1, 2, 3, and Racing, all for the PS1. Then later on the PS2, the Naughty Dog stopped making the Crash Bandicoot saga and started making the Jak saga. As in the Jak and Daxter, Jak from 2001 to 2005, all for the PS2, and also Naughty Dog didn't make any other project except Jak and Daxter, and Jak alone. None as big or as well known as Crash, but amazing nevertheless. Although great games, none of them have that big game feel just like Uncharted did. And on the E3 of 2006, Sony and Naughty Dog released this. This trailer made PS3 owners feel kinda inspired for the game, because until then PS3 games would have been lacking in the performance of the console, and besides, that conference that Sony had that year was, as they call it, horrible. Then Uncharted Drake's Fortune was later released in November of 2007, and it was met with amazing reviews. An 8 out of 10 from GameSpot, 88% from Metacritic, and IGN 9 out of 10, which were amazing reviews for the game it was. But why was it this good? First of all, let's talk about the characters. First, we gotta talk about our boy Nathaniel Drake. Okay, it's not Nathaniel, Nathan Drake, which is the first character you see in the video game. Is your typical good-looking guy. Drake's always sounding like that forward guy, like the always that first of all is highly intelligent, and in the first part of the game we think he is the only son of the pirate Sir Francis Drake, but he's always cracking jokes such as this one right in the beginning of the game.
Are you sure you want to be defiling your ancestors' remains like that?
You make it sound so dirty.
And the other person you hear / see in this video is Elena Fisher, the reporter who paid for the boat and the trip that Nathan Drake wanted to search for, as you can see, the coffin of Sir Francis Drake. Elena is just a reporter right in this instance of the game. She later becomes somewhat close to Drake in this video game, in this game. But for now she's actually just a reporter, which Drake, or Nathan as you want to call it, which Nathan doesn't really trust and doesn't really confess anything on why he's there. That's why when he opens the coffin and finds the diary of Sir Francis Drake, he tells her to to stop the camera, because that's all they agree to, the coffin of Sir Francis Drake. After opening the casket and seeing that Sir Francis Drake was not in there and only his diary was in there, Drake becomes super obsessed about this diary, and before they can go anywhere else they are attacked by pirates, as you can see in the video probably right now, and Drake and Elena have to chase off the pirates with guns that Drake had hidden somewhere in the boat. After that scene, we get our first scene with our old man, our old Paul, our father figure, Victor Sullivan. The first part of the game is them trying to find the coffin of Sir Francis Drake. Elena and Nate soon find that this casket didn't hold actually the body of Sir Francis Drake, but actually his diary, which led to an ongoing goose chase after the coordinates and the location of the actual El Dorado. Later they found the actual El Dorado wasn't actually a city, but actually a statue made of completely gold. But they weren't actually the only ones looking for this treasure. Gabriel Roman and Navarro were also looking for this treasure, which they later shot Sullivan, leaving us to think that he was dead. Later, we come to discover that he wasn't actually dead, as in the diary of Sir Francis Drake, which he had on his pocket, actually saved them. And they crack a joke how Sir Francis Drake was there for them one last time. Later in the story, Nate actually gets captured by Eddie Raja, which is the main actual villain of the Uncharted Drake's Fortune. He was captured in prison by this villain, and he was later released by Elena, strapping a cord around the prison cell and pulling it with a card, dropping the whole facade of the building down. Later they go into the monastery. Searching the tunnels, Nate overheard an argument between Roman, Navarro and Eddie, which revealed that Roman hired Eddie to capture Nate and keep the island secure, with a reward of being a share of the gold of El Dorado. And after Nate's escape, Roman doubted Eddie's ability to do his job further and ignored his superstitious claim that something cursed the island, was killing off his men, leading it to dismiss him and his crew. Later, Nate and Elena found a passage leading to a large treasure vault, in which they found the body of Drake, assuming that he had died, the island searching for the treasure. Before continuing on, they once again encountered Eddie and his crew, who were running for their lives, being chased by mutated humans possessing incredible speed and strength. These creatures happened to be the Spanish descendants. Despite their ongoing grudge, the two teamed up to take the creatures down. Eddie was killed. Soon afterwards, Eddie was killed when one of them dragged him into a pit, leaving Nate alone to fight by himself. Nate and Lena escaped and found themselves in an abandoned German bunker. Nathan then ventured out in the base to restore power to the bunker. Along the way, he took a look at the projector and discovered that the Germans had sought the statue during World War II, but like the Spaniards, the statue's power was actually trying to keep them on the island by destroying the ships and flooding the city, before he was also killed by the mutants. Then Nato ventured back into Elena, but found her captured by Roman in Navarro. He reunited with Sully outside the monastery and informed him about the curse and Elena's capture. Under the monastery, Nathan and Sully were held at gunpoint and found that Roman had secured the statue. Navarro urged Roman to open this casket, which held the mummy of El Dorado inside. Roman inhaled the dust from the rotting corpse and began to mutate, leading Navarro to shoot Roman in the head, thus revealing his betrayal to Roman, and his plan to steal the statue and sell the mutant as a biological weapon. The statue was lifted out by a helicopter, and the mercenaries were attacked by descendants. While Sully stayed behind to fend off the mercenaries and descendants, Nate jumped onto the neck of the statue, suspended it, and was taken to a tankard ship nearby. Their crash landed after Elena kicked the mercenary out of the helicopter, whose rifle discharged into the pilot's head. Nate fought his way onto the deck, killing numerous of mercenaries. On the deck, Navarro and Nate fist fought until Nate knocked Navarro unconscious. As Nate pulled and injured Elena from the helicopter, Navarro regained consciousness and raised his gun. Nate acted quickly by pushing the helicopter off the ship, with the rope connecting the helicopter to the statue becoming tangled around Navarro's leg, causing him and the statue to plunge into the depths of the Pacific Ocean. Elena returned Sir Francis Drake's ring that Nate had previously left at the corpse of Sir Francis Drake. She and Nate leaned into a kiss, shortly before interrupted by a Sully on a speedboat, having escaped from the island and killed several pirates, taking several boxes of treasure from them. On the boat ride, Elena reminded Nate that because she lost her camera, he still owed her a story. As the boat sailed off towards the sun, Nate assured her it was good for it. Finishing off this game is actually a really nice, enjoyable experience. It's a really good gameplay. It doesn't restrict you so much. It has puzzles. It's an adventure game. It's an action game. It has shooting. It has puzzles. It has everything you need. As in my opinion, I would give this game a 7 out of 10. Not an 8 out of 10 because it's not perfect and it doesn't hold up as well to today's standards. Although it was later remastered for the PS4, it also, as I said, doesn't hold up as good to today's standards. Probably what gives this game a 7 out of 10 and not an 8 or 9 is probably the last part of the game where we discovered that El Dorado is actually just a curse. And as you'll see in the next entries that I'll record, Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 3 actually suffer from the same consequences. But we'll talk about that when we'll talk about that. For now, I'll just keep it short and clean. As for me, I'll see you in the next one, probably in a week or something. So, thank you for watching. Leave a like if you liked. Subscribe if you're not already. And ever royals, have a wonderful end of day, beginning of day, end of the week, beginning of the week. And have a wonderful time.